Did you know that the Tesla semi-truck, which was supposed to revolutionize the trucking industry, might have been doomed from the very start? You've heard the hype, seen the sleek designs, and maybe even dreamed of driving one. But here's what no one is talking about. The Tesla Semi has some serious problems that could mean it never stands a chance in the real world. Today we're breaking down why the Tesla Semi might have been destined to fail all along, and trust me, you'll want to stick around for this one. We all know Tesla as the king of electric cars, the brand that's changed the game with its futuristic vehicles and bold promises. But when it comes to the trucking industry, things get a lot more complicated. On paper, the Tesla semi-truck looks like a game changer. Zero emissions, high-tech features, and the backing of Elon Musk himself. But dig a little deeper, and cracks start to show. What if the very things that make the Tesla Semi so innovative are the same things that could lead to its downfall? In this video, we'll take a close look at why the Tesla Semi might not be the revolutionary vehicle it's made out to be, and why the trucking industry might not be ready or willing to embrace it. Let's start with the obvious: range anxiety. Truckers rely on their rigs to get them across vast distances without any hiccups. Diesel trucks, despite their environmental drawbacks, offer range and refueling times that electric trucks just can't match. At least, not yet. Tesla claims their Semi will have a range of 300 to 500 miles, but the reality of that number depends on so many variables. The load being hauled, the terrain, weather conditions, and even how you drive. The truth is, those 300 to 500 miles might shrink dramatically under real-world conditions, leaving drivers stranded or constantly searching for charging stations. Imagine this. You're a trucker hauling a full load across the country, and you're halfway through a long stretch of highway in the middle of nowhere. You've planned your trip around the idea that your Tesla Semi can make it 500 miles on a single charge, but then you hit a series of steep inclines, the weather turns cold, and suddenly your range plummets. Now, instead of comfortably making it to your next scheduled stop, you're scrambling to find a charging station, and fast. The stress this adds to a trucker's job, which is already demanding, is hard to overstate. And speaking of charging stations, let's talk about infrastructure. Electric vehicles are only as good as the network that supports them, and right now the charging infrastructure for big rigs like the Tesla Semi is severely lacking. It's not like finding a gas station on every corner. Superchargers? They're great for cars, but we're talking about something much bigger here, both literally and figuratively. Imagine the logistics nightmare of trying to find a charger that can handle a 30,000 pound truck when you're on a tight delivery schedule. Not only do these chargers need to be powerful, but they also need to be available in the right locations, along major highways, at trucking hubs, and in areas where trucks commonly rest and refuel. This brings up another point: charging times. Even if you do find a charger, you're not going to be back on the road in 5 minutes like you would with a diesel fill-up. Tesla claims their Semi can regain up to 400 miles of range in 30 minutes with a megacharger, but that's still a significant downtime compared to diesel refueling, which takes only a few minutes. Now, imagine if there's a line of trucks waiting to charge, or if the charger is out of service. The delays could pile up, leading to missed delivery windows, upset customers, and lost revenue. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. One of the biggest selling points of the Tesla Semi is its promise of lower operational costs. Sure, electricity is cheaper than diesel, but the cost savings might not be as significant as you think. First, the upfront cost of a Tesla Semi is steep. Tesla hasn't released exact pricing, but estimates suggest it could be anywhere from $150,000 to $180,000. That's a huge investment for trucking companies, especially smaller fleets or owner-operators who don't have the cash reserves to splurge on brand new, unproven technology. And let's not forget about the hidden costs. For example, what happens when a Tesla Semi needs repairs? Tesla vehicles are known for having fewer moving parts compared to traditional internal combustion engines, which in theory means fewer things can go wrong. But we've already seen with Tesla's cars that when things do go wrong, they can be costly and time-consuming to fix. The Tesla Semi's advanced technology, like its battery pack and autonomous driving features, might require specialized maintenance that not every mechanic can handle. This could mean longer downtime and higher repair costs, negating any fuel savings. Think about the specialized parts too. Tesla's battery technology is cutting edge, but it's also complex. Replacing or repairing these batteries isn't something that can be done just anywhere. It requires a Tesla-certified facility, and that usually means shipping the vehicle or the part to a specific location. This isn't just a minor inconvenience, it's a logistical challenge that could significantly disrupt a trucking company's operations, especially if they rely on a small fleet. And while we're on the topic of advanced technology, let's discuss the learning curve. The Tesla Semi is packed with features that sound amazing on paper: autopilot, regenerative braking, an ultra-minimalist dashboard. But how easy will it be for truckers to transition from their current rigs to these high-tech behemoths? Many drivers have spent years, even decades, mastering the intricacies of traditional diesel trucks. The shift to an electric Semi isn't just about learning new controls, it's about trusting a whole new system. And if something goes wrong, like a software glitch or a sensor malfunction, are drivers going to feel confident they can handle it? Or will they be left scratching their heads? And then there's the question of the truck's weight. Battery technology has come a long way, but batteries are still heavy, really heavy. The more weight a truck has to carry, the less payload it can legally haul. This means that despite its impressive torque and acceleration, the Tesla Semi might end up being less efficient in terms of how much cargo it can move per trip compared to its diesel counterparts. In an industry where efficiency is king, that's a big deal. For example, if the Tesla Semi's battery pack adds several thousand pounds to the truck's weight, that's several thousand pounds less cargo it can legally carry. Over time, this could mean more trips, more wear and tear on the truck, and ultimately, more costs for trucking companies. And when you're competing in a cutthroat industry where margins are already thin, every little bit counts. Then there's the question of demand. We're sure there's a lot of buzz around the Tesla Semi, but how many companies are actually lining up to make the switch? The trucking industry is notoriously conservative, and for good reason. A truck isn't just a vehicle, it's the lifeblood of a business. Fleet managers need to know that their investment will deliver, and they're not likely to gamble on something that's still largely unproven. Add to this the current economic uncertainty, and you have to wonder, are companies really ready to take the plunge? And let's not forget the competition. Tesla isn't the only company working on electric trucks. Traditional manufacturers like Volvo and Daimler are also developing their own electric semis. And they're not starting from scratch. They've got decades of experience in the trucking industry, and they're not going to let Tesla waltz in and take over without a fight. Tesla might have the edge when it comes to innovation, but the competition has the experience and the infrastructure to back it up. And what about the government? Sure, there are incentives for going green, but will they be enough to make up for the potential losses companies might face by switching to electric? And what if those incentives go away or fail to materialize? There's a lot of uncertainty here, and uncertainty isn't something the trucking industry deals with lightly. So, where does all this leave the Tesla Semi? At the end of the day, it's a bold, ambitious project, and there's no denying that it represents the future of trucking. But the road to that future is full of bumps, and Tesla might be hitting more of them than they expected. The Semi promises a lot, but delivering on those promises is another story. The range, the charging infrastructure, the cost, the maintenance, the learning curve, the payload, each of these factors represents a significant challenge that Tesla will need to overcome if the Semi is going to be a success. And while Tesla is known for disrupting industries, the trucking world might prove to be a tougher nut to crack. Unlike the passenger car market, where consumers can be swayed by sleek designs, advanced features, and brand loyalty, the trucking industry is driven by hard numbers: cost per mile, downtime, payload capacity, and reliability. These are areas where Tesla is still largely unproven, and where traditional diesel trucks have the upper hand. And let's not forget the elephant in the room: the battery. Tesla's vehicles are powered by lithium-ion batteries, which, while advanced, have their limitations. Batteries degrade over time, meaning that the range of a Tesla Semi could decrease as the vehicle ages. Replacing these batteries isn't cheap, and it's not clear how well they'll hold up under the demanding conditions of long-haul trucking. Will they last as long as the diesel engines they're supposed to replace? That's a big question mark that Tesla has yet to answer. Then there's the environmental impact. Yes, electric vehicles are cleaner than diesel trucks in terms of tailpipe emissions, but the production and disposal of batteries have their own environmental costs. Mining for lithium, cobalt, and other materials used in batteries can be environmentally damaging, and the batteries themselves need to be disposed of properly at the end of their life. Is the Tesla Semi as green as it claims to be? That's a debate that's still ongoing. In the end, the Tesla Semi is a fascinating glimpse into what the future of trucking could look like, but it's not without its flaws. The challenges it faces are significant, and they could be enough to prevent it from achieving the widespread adoption that Tesla hopes for. Whether it's range anxiety, the lack of charging infrastructure, the high cost, or the learning curve, there are a lot of hurdles that Tesla will need to clear. But even if the Tesla Semi doesn't become the dominant force in the trucking industry, it's still pushing the conversation forward. It's forcing us to think about what's possible, and it's challenging the status quo in a way that few other vehicles have. The question is, can Tesla overcome the obstacles in its path? Or will the Semi end up as a footnote in the history of electric vehicles? If you're curious to see what happens next, make sure you hit subscribe and stay tuned for more.